All right, guys. Hello, my name is Micah. I am your astrologer for today. And today we are going to be covering the horoscopes and taroscopes, I suppose, for the new moon in Libra. This is like a part 2 video. If you want the breakdown of the new moon in Libra, that is already up. This video is purely going to be the tarot scopes. And so, if that is something that interests you, then this is the right video for you. But if you are looking for the breakdown of the new moon in Libra, we've already done that video. And so, you would need to go and watch that video, and then you can come back to this video. But we are going to go ahead and get into the tarot scopes. And so, I will see you in just a second. Bye. All right, Aries, we have this new moon in Libra occurring for you in your seventh house of partnerships, which can bring new connections. We have the ruler of this new moon, that is also Venus in Libra, and it is in your seventh house as well. And it's bringing in new charismatic, attractive, or even flirty new partners. So you could see some romance under this new moon. Venus rules not only your seventh house, but also your second house, which could mean that partners are softening a little bit, becoming a little bit sweeter, or just kind of more open to compromise or just being a bit more supportive. If you guys have been going through a rough patch, especially, we could also see partners that are open to making money together. So, this could be a good time for like business dealings and business collabs. Um, or just kind of getting connected to new people through your relationships you already have. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio in your eighth is can bring new action in the areas of transformation, shared resources, intimacy, as well as trust. Mercury is going to rule your voice and neighborhood in your third house, and then health, which is going to be your sixth house. While Mars rules over you, which is going to be your first house, and what you share with other people, other people's money, intimacy, the occult, trust, and transformation. And that's all going to be your eighth house. So this could bring some sort of new action or conversation surrounding fitness goals, changing how you express yourself, and being a bit more calculating and premeditated in conversations, as well as possibly preparing new moving plans. And so for the tarot, what we have for you is temperance. Temperance is a lot about balance. It's a lot about taking the lessons that you've had in the past and bringing them into the present. But I think this is more like literal in your sense. It is, like I was saying, that premeditation, I think, is more coming in where you're literally learning how to temper your words, especially with third house being activated. In this sense, with the second house, it's literally about your words matter and make a big change and make a big difference. And so, just being very careful with your words, being a bit more reflective when it comes to partnerships and dealings and those things, especially when money is involved, can be extremely helpful. That is what I have for you, Aries. All right, Taurus, this new moon lands in your sixth house of health, daily routines, and work environments. With this new moon, we could see new habits or opportunities in your daily schedule could be unfolding. With the ruler Venus also in Libra, your sixth house ruler, there is an emphasis on balance and harmony at work with coworkers and in your wellness routines. Venus also rules over your first house, which is self, body, and identity, and the sixth house, which is, of course, your routines and wellness. So, tying in personal magnetism to your health and daily flow is a big focus during this new moon. This is a powerful time to create healthier routines that actually feel good to you. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio are activating your seventh house of partnerships, meaning important conversations or actions could shift within close relationships. Mercury is going to rule over your second house of money and values, and the fifth, where we see creativity, joy, and romance. While Mars is going to be the ruler of your 12th, where we see rest, hidden matters, and the seventh house, of course, which is going to be partnerships. So I'd say really expect themes around balancing self care and relationships, and possibly collaborative, financial, and creative projects. Um, I think with the tarot, we have the Hierophant, and I think this is a lot about, weighing who is more serious about committing not just to you, but to what you're trying to build together. Who is actually like Libra is a lot about, yes, like fairness and reciprocity, but it's also in part about commitment, which with Venus being in Taurus, this is literally you looking for reciprocity when things get stressful, when things might get hard, looking for people that will truly support you when you're trying to come together with people so that you're not feeling as heavy, and you're not taking on the brunt of all the work, and you still have time to, be expressive and creative and all of those things so that you're not getting weighed down, and choosing those relationships very wisely. So that is what I have for you, Taurus. Good luck. All right, Gemini, this new moon is lighting up your fifth house of creativity, romance, and pleasure, as well as self expression. You might feel a spark for new hobbies, romantic beginnings, or creative projects. Venus in Libra also rules. Venus in Libra is also ruling over this new moon in Libra, and it's bringing magnetism and beauty to how you express yourself, as well as just making you feel very creative. Venus rules over your 12th house, which is going to be secrets and spirituality, and the fifth house, which is going to be creativity and joy, suggesting hidden passions or even private romances could become more potent. Sorry, not potent. I'm I mixed those 2 words together, potent. Well, maybe that can become like a word, more potent or, prominent now. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio activate your 6th house of routines and health, so you could be strategizing how to build daily routine around your passions, while Mercury rules your 1st house of identity and the 4th house, which is gonna be home, roots, in the past. Um and we can also see that Mars rules your sixth house of routines and your 11th house of community and networks. So this might bring a blending of creative self-expression with practical goals for your health, and maybe even new collaborations through your social circle. And for the tarot, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is going to be, I think, more of like just kind of the shakeup that you need as far as getting out there, doing something new. It's very fifth house like. The Wheel of Fortune is about something shifting, not being the way it was anymore. It can be if you've been having a hard time when it comes to meeting new people. This new moon is saying that this is the time to do it, where things might get a little easier when it comes to finding relationships that are a bit more solid, especially with Uranus being in your sign. I can imagine like it feels like it's just kind of like a slot machine of people coming and going. This new moon could bring in new people that are really committed and really that could be end up being staples in your circle, or just you finding a way to express yourself that feels authentic and right to you. That is all I have for you, Gemini. Good luck. All right, Cancer. This new moon falls in your fourth house of home, family, and foundations, giving you a reset around your living situation or emotional security. Venus is in Libra, the ruler of this new moon, and it's emphasizing harmony and beauty in the home. Venus rules over your 11th house, which is going to be community and networks, and the fourth house of home and family. And so it's pointing to connections that could improve your living space or support you emotionally. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio are energizing your fifth house of romance, creativity, and children. Mercury is the ruler of your third and 12th house, where we see communication coming together with secrets and rest. While Mars is going to be the ruler of your fifth and 10th house, where we see creativity, romance, career, and status come together. And so you can feel motivated to express yourself creatively, dive into a new passion project, or even address deeper emotional patterns within your family life or dynamic. And so we have the Page of Pentacles. Interesting. With career coming up, um, and when we're talking about that Mercury Mars conjunction, I think this is possibly like some sort of new job coming in. That's more what this signals to me. It could be a job from the past or a connection from the past that helps to kind of let you know about a job opportunity that is maybe new. Libra is very much about connections, obviously, and so it can be, a referral that gives you a new opportunity for new stability. Pages are also children, and so it can be a lot about getting children set up with new security and stability as well. Or this could be like a younger earth sign that in your family that you're um, maybe taking under your wing. The Page of Pentacles gives me very much apprenticeship vibes, and so it can be about learning something new as well. But I think this is more, I'm feeling intuitively that this is more about a job for you, um, or a new opportunity that could make you money. But the Page of Pentacles is a lot about just learning something for the joy of learning it. And so this could also just be the passion project that you really indulge in on your time off when you're at home behind closed doors. And so that is all I have for you, Cancer. Good luck. All right, Leo, this new moon is activating your third house of communication, siblings, and short trips. It's a fresh start for how you use your voice and how you connect locally. Venus is in Libra, and so it's the ruler of this new moon, and it's bringing sweetness and magnetism to your words. Venus rules over your 10th house and third house, where we see career, public image, and communication coming together, suggesting that your voice could attract recognition or help in career related areas or matters. Then we have Mercury and Mars and Scorpio that are falling into your fourth house of home and family. Mercury is going to be the ruler of your second house as well as 11th house, where we see money and resources. Your money, your resources, your self esteem come together with your community, while Mars is going to be the ruler of your ninth house and fourth house, where we see beliefs and higher learning, spirituality, travel come together with home and more private matters, as well as the past. And so we could see conversations around family, money, and your foundation could push you to rethink both your emotional base and your own ambitions, and possibly even travel back home if you have family overseas in particular. But we have for the tarot for you, we have the Ace of Wands. Something new is sparking in you. I think this is more about your voice more than anything, but you're excited to tell somebody something. This could be an announcement that you have about something new or wanting to learn something new. This could be about a new change in perspective and beliefs that comes through a partner. But either way, this is very giving me very much like I'm excited, I'm enthusiastic, and I want to share it with people. And so I think the Ace of Wands, yeah, is very much like it's sparked by other people, and you're sharing that light with other people as well. The Ace of Wands, I feel like, is very much you. But other than that, Leo, that is all I have for you. Good luck. All right, Virgo, this new moon lands in your second house of money, values, and self worth, offering a reset around income and confidence. Excuse me. We have Venus in Libra, this lunation's ruler, highlighting charm and attraction in financial matters. Venus is going to be the ruler of your ninth house as well as your second house, where we see philosophy, travel, beliefs, higher learning, as well as money and values coming together, suggesting income and recognition could flow through teaching, travel, or expanding your worldview. It could also possibly be about like needing some sort of financial aid for school. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio energize both your third house of communication and local community. Um, Mercury is going to be the ruler of the first house as well as your 10th house, where we see self and career come in, while Mars is the ruler of your eighth and your third, where we see shared resources. Um, and your communication. I really think that this is about school. And so this could bring assertive, strategic conversations about finances, career directions, or contracts. If any Virgos are planning to go back to school, I think this is like a time where we really start to see like that pivot, of you trying to get a lot of things together, which is why I think that the magician is perfect for you for this new moon. for the tarot, we have the Magician. You might not have all the pieces you need just yet, but you are surely getting them together. I think that Virgo season was that new fresh start for you, and you're figuring out what you want to do in this new season where we've had this pivot and you've transitioned out and flushed out any of the things that don't really make sense, so that you can focus on what does make sense, so that you can lift yourself up either financially or confidence wise. And the Magician is saying that you're very much manifesting that, even if you're still getting your ducks in a row. It's happening. It's in the beginning stages, but it's happening nonetheless. This could also be, the Magician is oftentimes a very like creative card, especially if you're like a singer, writer, musician, things like that. But it can also be about back and forth communication as well, because it's ruled by um, it's a Mercury card. Oftentimes, I also think of it as Gemini's card, but Mercury is the real puppet master behind the Magician. And so that is what I have for you, Virgo. Good luck. All right, Libra, this new moon is in your first house of self and identity, and it's marking a personal rebirth. Venus is the ruler of this new moon, and it's in your first house, and it's enhancing your magnetism and charm. We can even say your self esteem as well, but and you just like kind of like your confidence and ability to draw others in with ease. Venus is going to be the ruler of your eighth as well as your first. And so it's bringing in intimacy, shared resources with you. And so your transformation and personal growth now tie into deeper bonds or financial collaborations. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio activate your second house of income and values. Mercury rules over your ninth house, where we see travel and learning come together with your 12th house of spirituality and isolation, while Mars is going to be the ruler of your second house, which is finances, and the seventh, which is partnerships. So you might feel called to make more intentional choices around money, self worth, and aligning your identity with what you truly value. And for the tarot, for you, we have the Three of Pentacles. It's all about working together with other people. I think this is a perfect card for this new moon and just kind of for your energy, your season. You're already very much about partnerships. The Three of Pentacles is literally about getting people together that have the same vision, but different perspectives so that they can create something very solid. Think about how you build a house. You might need you might need an architect, a plumber, and maybe even like an interior designer. All of those people will have specializations in different areas, but they all need each other. And so when they work together, they can create a beautiful home. And that's very much what this is giving for you. Um, this is also, I think, just a reminder to say that, teamwork makes the dream work. With all that energy in Scorpio, you can see maybe some people kind of pulling back and wanting to do more or like take on a bit more than is necessary. But I think with you being kind of like the zodiac's mediator, um, this is really stressing that you kind of keep that mindset, so that you can remind others when things are getting a little dicey. But I love this for you, Libra. It's really showing that your charisma and your charm are really what kind of glue people together in the best way. And so that's all I have for you, Libra. Good luck. All right, Scorpio, this new moon falls in your 12th house of rest, spirituality, and subconscious, encouraging healing and inner work. Venus in Libra, the ruler of this lunation, emphasizes harmony and peace behind the scenes. And so when Venus rules over your seventh house as well as your 12th house, it brings together partnerships, healing, and closure, suggesting relationships may support your healing process, or you could be seeing the end of a relationship, which can trigger the need for some rest. Mercury and Mars in Scorpio activate your first house of self and identity, and it's bringing energy and boldness to how you move through the world. Mercury is going to be the ruler of your eighth as well as your 11th, bringing together transformation, intimacy, and community, while Mars rules your first house of self and the sixth house of routines. This is a strong time for self reflection, inner transformation, and taking action on personal goals while quietly releasing what no longer serves you. And for you, we have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands can be a lot about trying to stay on top of things or feeling a bit defensive. Um, I would say really be mindful of where you're putting your energy. Do certain arguments need to be had? With Libra season and the new moon in Libra, it's saying that sometimes the relationship just isn't worth the argument, and sometimes it's better to just kind of let things play out the way that the way that they will. You've put As long as you put your work into it, that sometimes some relationships fall apart, or that um, you might just need some time away from being super social. But it can also point to, I think, with the seven of wands, it can just be irritation, just needing some time to yourself, and that your social battery is just dead. And that's like the biggest intuitive hit that I'm getting, is that some of you just need some rest. It's not even about like having arguments with people. It's more about like, I just don't have the energy for it and I need some time by myself. I've been, being super social with people, but I'm like, you just need time alone to recharge. And so that is all I have for you, Scorpio. Good luck. All right, Sagittarius, this new moon activates your 11th house of friendships, groups, and future goals. So we could see fresh opportunities and networking, as well as community and long term dreams might emerge. Venus is in Libra and it's the ruler of this lunation. And so it's smoothing connections and brings charm into group dynamics. Venus is going to be the ruler of your sixth house as well as your 11th house, bringing together work and health as well as community and networks. And so it's really a great time for networking, because like that work, like work life balance, as well as just kind of like networking for work, are really emphasized at this time, showing how building connections can improve your routines and open doors for future success. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio highlight your 12th house of the subconscious and hidden matters. Mercury is going to be the ruler of your seventh house, where we see partnerships come together with your 10th house of career, while Mars rules over your 12th house of closure and healing and the fifth house of creativity and joy. And so, altogether, you can expect hidden insights or behind the scenes actions that could influence both your career and relationships. And for you, we have the King of Pentacles. I love this card for you. This is giving me very much like boss energy. I love there's a meme out there that says, in tarot, we don't say sugar daddy, say King of Pentacles. And I think Libra season is, one, encouraging you to spend, but I think that that spending that you do with like the 11th house is for a good reason. It's more of an investment into your future and meeting the right people. And so the King of Pentacles could be either a mentor that comes in that can help guide you, or it can be you being that teacher for other people, being that wealth of knowledge for other people, as well as possibly being somebody that's able to just be generous because you're reaching your goals or meeting the right people. And so you have a little bit extra wiggle room when it comes to finances, or just kind of creatively and self-expression wise. But yeah, the King of Pentacles is giving me very much abundance that you're able to share with other people in a various amount of ways. And so that is all I have for you, Sagittarius. Good luck. All right, Capricorn, this new moon falls in your 10th house of career and public reputation, giving you a chance to reset professional goals. Venus is in Libra and it's a ruler of this lunation. It's bringing grace and opportunity into how others perceive you. Venus rules over your fifth house of creativity and romance and the 10th house of career, suggesting creative endeavors could boost your public profile. Mercury and Mars in Scorpio energize your 11th house of community and friendships. Mercury is going to be the ruler of your sixth house as well as your ninth, bringing together daily routines, health, as well as higher learning and travel. While Mars is going to be the ruler of your 11th house and your fourth house, where we see networks and home come together. So you might find yourself stepping into leadership in group projects or aligning your long term goals with your public image. Um, and so I think a lot of this is also going to be about like how you manage your energy and work life balance, um, especially with how you manage your emotions in those times, because I think this can get very stressful. Anytime we have a new moon or something going on in one of the angular houses, such as Libra for you in the 10th house, we can see the wheel turn. And so this is not only affecting your career, it's affecting your partnerships, it's affecting home, and it's affecting how you identify in you and your body. And so it's very personal for you. And I think with the tarot being the hangman, it's a lot about honestly crying it out, but we could also just say surrender. Um, and just taking on a new perspective and really taking the time to maybe vent when needed. But also, I think crying in the shower in the dark might also be very therapeutic as a Capricorn rising. But like, that's my favorite thing to do. But the hangman is about surrender and looking at things from a different perspective to be able to surrender to just kind of like what is happening, because it reminds us that we can't control everything. And I think the more you try to control things, the more dicey things can get for you. And so just remember that things are going to play out how they're going to play out as long as put the foundation there, and you put in the work. There's not much else that you can do. You can only really, you can only control yourself. And so things will be what they will be. But and also the more that you try to control things, the more that you could kind of like put a damper on the that magnetizing um Venus in your 10th at this time. It can kind of make people look at you sideways if you're not careful. Um but that is all I have for you, Capricorn. Good luck. All right, Aquarius, this new moon lights up your ninth house of travel, higher learning, and beliefs, making it a powerful moment to expand your worldview. Venus is in Libra and it's the ruler of this lunation. It adds harmony and luck to pursuits of knowledge and spirituality as well as travel. Now, Venus is going to be the ruler of your fourth house as well as home and roots, or sorry, of your fourth house where we see home and roots, and your ninth house where we see philosophy and learning. Suggesting support could come through family or long distance connections. Mercury and Mars in Scorpio activate your 10th house of career and public standing. Mercury is going to be the ruler of your fifth house and eighth house, where we see creativity come together with shared resources, while Mars rules over your 10th house of career and your third house of communication. And so we see career and communication come together. This could bring powerful conversations and connections around your career path, authority, and how your beliefs shape your ambitions. And for you, we have the Ace of Wands as well. We got this for Leo. I love that you two opposite signs, the two opposite signs got the same card. Um, Again, I think this is a lot about you. I don't want you to get preachy, like with sorry. That's because I just feel like I heard that so loud and clear. With the ninth house being involved, it wouldn't surprise me because the ninth house is where we see like literally religion, and like preacher energy. But um, I think the with the Ace of Wands, it's really saying don't get on your soapbox so much that you become unrelatable or that you kind of isolate yourself for you. This is what I'm more getting for you rather than Leo, who is just a bit more like excited. This is feeling more like you really want to be aware of how much you're like how much in the tone of what you're talking, because Libra can be about beautiful words, yes, but it can also become a bit judgy sometimes, with it being the scales. And so I think, you can be excited about something and enthusiastic about something, or excited about something new you're learning, because I think a lot of the ninth house energy here is like, how you relay spiritual or like new learnings and belief systems to partners. And it can be a lot about ego that's coming up through the Ace of Wands. And so just remember that, either you or somebody that you are talking to could fall prey to that. And that's not going to help anybody learn at all. It's just going to make things harder to connect. And so, keep that in mind, Aquarius. I think that'll help you out a lot. But other than that, that's all I have for you. Good luck. All right, Pisces, this new moon occurs in your eighth house of intimacy, shared resources, and transformation, offering deep emotional and financial resets. Venus is in Libra, the ruler of this lunation, and it enhances harmony in close bonds and shared investments. Venus rules over your third as well as your eighth house, bringing together communication and shared resources, and making communication around intimacy and trust especially fruitful. Mercury and Mars and Scorpio activate your ninth house of philosophy and learning as well as expansion. Mercury is going to be the ruler of your fourth house as well as your seventh, so it's bringing together home and family as well as partnerships. While Mars is going to be the ruler of your second house and your ninth house, bringing together income, self-esteem, learning, and travel. And so you can expect transformative conversations around beliefs, partnerships, and shared finances, with opportunities to deepen bonds or restructure financial agreements. And we have the Five of Swords for your tarot card. um, with the eighth house, things can be kind of tricky. And I think, with the Five of Swords, can be about like somebody or a situation where you're supposed to be working with someone, which is very eighth house like, and you're kind of bearing your soul to that person in hopes of, being a team and working together towards something beautiful. But the Five of Swords might be saying that you might be putting your trust in the wrong people. And you might be finding that out during this lunation. The Five of Swords is also about letting go at the end of the day, but it does come sometimes with an ego bruise, and so it can be saying that somebody gets the upper hand, but at the cost of the relationship itself, or somebody walks out on a partnership. Either way, egos are bruised, and whoever wins, but whoever loses has to walk away and with a bruised ego. Um, but the relationship is lost. So who really wins in the end? I guess that depends on the situation. But Pisces, I think this either way is going to be a very enlightening time where you might be going through a little bit of heartbreak, sure, but it can also be a time where you're really learning how to pick yourself back up. When trust is broken, to find relationships that truly value you. But other than that, Pisces, that is what I have for you. Good luck.